I have gotten input from thousands of people in the Skylanders community to finally determine who the best characters are in Skylanders Spyro's Adventure. There are only 32 unique Skylanders to choose from, the least out of any Skylanders game. To fully experience the game, you need at least one Skylander per element, so I set out to find the best character in each before picking an overall winner. Let's start with Fire. Sunburn, the only SSA Skylander to not receive a repose, unsurprisingly got the least love from the community. Igniter was by far the victor here with almost half of the votes, and the other two basically tied. My favorite is actually Flameslinger, so let's compare him to Igniter. Flameslinger is one of the fastest Skylanders in SSA and uses ranged attacks. This means he suits a hit and run playstyle against enemies, particularly because he isn't very strong. Igniter, on the other hand, is basically the opposite. He's tough and powerful, but slow and can mostly deal damage to nearby enemies. I would recommend whichever of these two fits your playstyle more. For Water, the most popular option was clearly Gilgrunt, but I suspect this is because just about everyone has played as the Starter Pack characters. Slam Bam was also pretty popular, but my personal favorite is Zap. He's pretty fast and his moves work really well together. Slam Bam and Gilgrunt are also pretty fast and have good attacks, so really any of these three would be good, but Whamshell is definitely last place. We see a similar story with Magic, where Spyro takes the cake, but it's worth noting that Double Trouble is a powerhouse. Some people thought Voodooed was by far the best, and I think this is because his moveset's very unique and may be appealing to a small minority. Personally, I would stay away from Wrecking Ball and probably get Spyro, who I like because he's reliable and fast. Earth is pretty split, and I don't think any of these Skylanders are bad. Bash is tough and fast, Dinorang and Terrafin are powerful, and when used correctly, Prism Break is the strongest of these four. While I appreciate Bash's speed, I have to recommend Prism Break here. For Life, Stump Smash and Zook are not very popular, and I would agree that Stealth Elf and Camo are much better. Both have excellent self-healing, and Stealth Elf will get you better speed and DPS, but Camo is incredible for crowd control and huge damage at any range. Since Stealth Elf is so fun to play as though, she's definitely both the community's and my personal pick. Tech is also between two Skylanders, where the other two fall flat. I think Trigger Happy has some of the craziest damage and most enjoyable gameplay, but suffers from his lower health and average speed. Drobot is great if you like speed and don't mind only ever using one attack, but most people, including myself, would rather have Trigger Happy. Undead really surprised me. I knew Chop Chop was popular, but I did not know he was this popular. He's definitely good, but relatively slow, and his shield is kinda hard to use. I think Ghost Roaster is actually underrated, since instead of using a shield, he can actually become invincible for a small health penalty, and he's also so much faster. The last element to cover is Air, where honestly, all of the Skylanders are kinda mid. Whirlwind is fast and does good damage, but to my surprise, the community really doesn't like her. Lightning Rod is the slowest on the list, but he's extremely powerful, and because of that, me and the community would recommend him. To determine the very best Skylander in Spyro's Adventure, I took the winners from each of the 8 elements and let people vote for the winner. The top 3 by far were Trigger Happy, Stealth Elf, and Chop Chop, who the community thought was the best overall. Out of these 3, I personally believe Stealth Elf to be the best because of her superior mobility and fluent playstyle. Plus, since you can become invisible to enemies and self-heal, you could potentially survive indefinitely. But who is your favorite SSA Skylander? And if you want to vote for the best Skylander in Giants, the next community poll is already up.